I filed for divorce today. Original post. My wife and I have been through hell and back in the 10 years we were together before marriage. And that was what made me choose her as a partner and proposed in 2020. We had the best year of our lives in 2022. Amazing wedding, reconnecting honeymoon. I had really put work into our relationship, and it was showing, plus promotions and work success as we geared up for kids, unsuccessful but actively trying, and house buying planning. We were flying pretty high by the end of 2022, but apparently for different reasons. We became super close friends in 2019 with a couple that we've been sort of peripheral friends with for several years before that. The dude was from my wife's work, and we were extremely close with them and their kids. Once his wife became pregnant with a surprise kid over COVID, my wife, and he became really close, texting all the time, more touchy-feely than I liked, though our community is very touch-positive, so this bothered me the least, and hanging out on their own. My wife was overly concerned with his well-being when we were on trips together. Etc. To my knowledge, my wife has never had an affair, and we've been explicit in our monogamy over our 13 years together. I always trusted her, and we were doing so well. I walked in on them about to engage in intimate activities at a party after everyone else had gone to sleep. Everyone was sober at this point in the night, and she'd insisted we stay over. She left our spare room bed and planned to meet him downstairs. I kicked her out immediately and forced a 72-hour hold on communication because I was worried I'd do something terrible. Affair partner told the other betrayed spouse because I was going to tell her, but he beat me to it, and she did the same to him later that week. Found out from the other betrayed spouse that this has been going on for 1.5 years, long before we got married. Multiple instances of hooking up that made it clear this was way more than just friendship. That made a mistake. He's one of my closest friends, on top of it all, and apparently justified to his wife that since I had told him I was happy my wife had a close friendship, that it was implied consent for an affair. Insane. I am beyond devastated. It's been a couple of weeks now, and I'm all the things you guys have felt. I kicked her out, weeks of drinking, crying, smashing our things, and lots of therapy. Very thankful I've curated a truly amazing community of friends for support. For what it's worth, she seems genuinely remorseful, took full responsibility for the damage/harm this has caused, didn't gaslight me, and has been honest with our friends. She hates herself for what she's done, but the fact that this went on for so long, and it's not like she admitted it. I had to be traumatized by catching them makes me feel like it's crocodile tears. After endless soul-searching and feeling like I need to make a decision, I'm going to tell her I want a separation, and that she needs to move out for the foreseeable future. I don't see a way we get through this, but I know that she needs to face her own demons, and it's been hard to admit this has nothing to do with me or even us. She has work to do on herself, and I can't be here for it. Maybe one day something will rise from the ashes, but our relationship is destroyed. I don't see her as the partner anymore. 3 weeks ago, we were trying to have kids. Insanity. I don't know what I'm asking. Still in shock and can't really think about reconciliation. I'm so exhausted right now. I just feel like I need to protect what sanity I have left and focus on finding some moments of joy for myself. They did the deed and more than once. She hasn't taken responsibility. Exactly, if she was truly remorseful, she would have full disclosure and stop with the lying. They maintained an emotional and intimate relationship for a really long time, at least 1.5 years, while deceiving you, the other betrayed spouse, and the whole family. She also did a great acting job to make you feel like you had the best year of your life in marriage, and a reconnecting honeymoon. At this point, no matter how much she acts to look remorseful, I'd urge you to still look at it with a critical eye. She has proven to you that she can lie to you successfully, with you being none the wiser. Considering the enormity of her betrayal, I really don't know how you can recover this marriage at this point. For all we know, OP, you were the side dude she had because her main dude was already taken. I honestly didn't ask her for details. I couldn't hear it, and it's just not important anyway. The base situation/facts are enough for a grand jury. Haha. Just said she took responsibility for the harm she's done, not necessarily for who she is. That made her that way. I would bet she doesn't have the EQ to face those demons, but I hope she does one day. She's remorseful she got caught, not that she cheated for 1.5 years. Kick her to the curb. She's done with. 100% agree. If she'd come to me at any of the many points, I think that would have helped a lot. But this insane double lie from the person I trusted most. Now the apologies ring hollow. The double life thing, I so get that. My soon-to-be ex-husband did the same type of thing. Makes me still sick to think about. Best of luck to you, OP. First update. It's been a couple of weeks, and things have definitely made a turn for the worse. Wayward wife had been staying at friends/family for the prior 6 weeks. I made it clear she needs to move out in January when we last spoke, but I kindly stored her stuff in a spare room. She packed it up but left it there. We communicated a few times via text, strictly logistics only. I sent an email about a month back asking to plan out logistics of separation, financial accounts, pets, furniture, who gets the house, etc. I expressed interest in amicability and just wanted to move on, heal, and process on my own. Wayward wife sent a response 3 weeks ago and love-bombed the heck out of me. I left it in the air for a couple of days, planning. Then she announced via text that she's coming home, with the tone that this temper tantrum was over, and I was going to listen to her, and at least live together while we figured it out. Couldn't understand why we couldn't just be roommates at least. Yeah, right. I told her absolutely not, crystal clear in my boundaries. I booked a therapy session with a mediator, which has turned out to be a godsend. Wayward wife expressed a desire to reconcile and that we are so much bigger than this affair. She has been made homeless while making twice what I make and staying with friends and family. She's unfairly displaced these last 2 months. I told her flat out I want a divorce, and this isn't fixable. And the mediator backed me up. Logistically, I can't afford the house we are renting anyway, and she can have it. I told her I'm aggressively looking for a place for April 1st, and that I'll move out in April. I'm staying at a friend's house until then, as I can't even be at my own place without crazy anxiety anymore. I think I have a great place secured. We're trading off a few days at a time so I can keep an eye on pets and stuff. I told her that I told our landlord that I'm leaving and need a rental reference, and she lost it on me that I'm going to get her evicted. Oh. She can afford this place twice over. She called me last week, freaking out that I'm abandoning her in her time of crisis, that I'm running away, that I'm just doing this to punish her. At another therapy session this week, she said how unclassy and matchy it was that I'd thrown away stuff in the house while she was gone. Guys, I threw away her affair partners, plus the other betrayed spouses, wedding gift to us, and a baby planning book, because it gave me a breakdown as we were trying to have kids before this went down. Yeah, unreal. I think we made some progress emotionally. I am just a broken record with my own boundaries, and it's definitely helped them land for her when they are reflected by a third party that calls her out on being delusional. But she's clearly hysterical, and I need her on board so we can get a financial plan in place and logistically exit this with grace and dignity, which is what I'd asked for weeks ago. But holy smoke, she's gone off the deep end, just completely selfish. There's no longer empathy for what she did to me. Everything that's happened after the affair was found out is decoupled in her mind as not consequences, just injustices done to her. And while these sessions give structure to what we discuss inside and out of it, and that's really crucial right now for my own emotional safety, she just clearly sees everything as being done to her despite her now moving out in 2 weeks, and holy heck, I can't wait to get out of this. I'm trying the patient route, hoping for a better, less expensive financial outcome, but I'm worried she's going to lose her actual mind when I get another lease. Silver lining. Definitely put a bullet in any last thought I had for reconciliation before divorce. While you are getting the full narcissist treatment, it's frankly impossible to have an amicable divorce with one. I'm being super patient, trying to get an amicable split here, but she has a lot of legal leverage over me, unfortunately. Most assets were accrued in her name before we were married. Our assets are really simple, so I'm still hoping we can make something close to fair in the division, but losing hope that someone this selfish won't be able to do it, even after it all. Listen to all of you folks. Get your legal stuff signed while they are still remorseful and caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Won't last forever. I don't know, man. Look at it this way. Your wife makes double what you make and has a lot of properties in her name, but it can't make you stay with her. I bet she is extremely frustrated with the fact she can't get you to stay, probably why she is acting the way she is acting. Trust me, the money and stability I'm giving up is hard to watch go up in smoke. But if I stayed for those reasons, I'm just a prop for her. I think if I don't leave now, I won't have the will later, especially since we were so close to having kids, actively trying house the works. But man, this whole thing stings. Just stay the course, OP. Her behavior is directly tied to her feelings of losing control. She's experiencing the very worst possible outcome for her actions, and she can't deal with the shame. 2 more weeks, and you can start building the groundwork for the next chapter of your life. Yet, ultimately, she's in pain, and I get that. Facing the enormity of what she's done must be incredibly hard. It's easy to threaten, so saving those cards as a last resort. Remain hopeful she's going to stop flailing and at least meet me somewhere near the middle and play hardball later. Second update. I won't recap my prior posts. You can have a look through my history. But I'll say a screenplay of the last 5 months of my life would be thrown out of the boardroom for being too unbelievable. Some highlights. During financial agreement negotiation, she tried to make me pay for her egg freezing, as we were trying to have kids and should be compensated, and future adoption fees as well as pay back her parents' wedding gift, claiming I made her homeless and abandoning her in her time of need and a mental health crisis. She secretly drained our joint bank account that we had a written agreement to not touch until the divorce went through, and dropped this news in a planned therapy/mediation session where she told me money won't help you heal. Our therapist called me after and said she is a narcissist and told me to run as fast as possible. Somehow found out my new address that I went to a great deal of trouble to obscure and came to my house. Refused to give me my pet back, demanded my prescription meds, and to get her others that she abuses because she's an addict as part of the division of assets. After blocking her, she spoofed phone numbers to call and harass me, has called me a coward for abandoning her and our future together, and still frames this as a mental health crisis for which she was entitled to help. Yeah, after writing that out, no wonder my therapist diagnosed me with PTSD. I blocked her on everything a few weeks ago, and my community has cut her out of their lives. She emails regularly still to ask if we can go back to therapy, desperate attempt to be amicable, damage control on losing friends and me. Sends blog posts on how infidelity isn't that bad, and with minor pet updates. She won't give me full pet custody. It's in her name on paper, unfortunately, but is actually mine, which is an obvious attempt at continued contact via a shared setup, pickups and drop-offs, and has broken my heart to face giving it up as I struggle with guilt versus duty to self to avoid contact with ex at any cost. Now me? I moved out 2.5 months ago. Some days and weeks go by, and I'm happy with my new life, and I manage to distract myself from the loneliness. I try to reframe it as peace and freedom. Sometimes it's still overwhelming, depressed, and in pain. Still, a sense of numbness and pointlessness of my life. I have a great therapist and a community of friends, hobbies, a healthy self-care routine, but it only does so much. The other betrayed spouse and I are really tight. We've been close friends for many years before this. She's incredible and honestly an example of strength I aspire to. Definitely a light in my life in more ways than one. But it's still really tough a lot of days. She filed for divorce too. Our 1-year wedding anniversary, together for 12 plus years, was a couple of weeks ago, and it's honestly been like D-Day flashbacks all over again. Very angry, depressed, consumed by the injustice of the life I worked so hard to build and the partnership I relied on that I was so proud of being torn from my grasp. That she married me full well knowing I didn't consent to what she was doing, grief at what I've lost. I know I have a lot to offer, my life has potential, and I'm perfectly fine on my own, but that was never my choice. Many days I'm still reeling in pain. I work out hard regularly, lost some weight, get outside, see lots of friends, sleeping better, no solo drinking, on some medication that helps with anxiety. It's progress, but while I wish I could say I was killing it, unfortunately, I'm not. Filing for divorce this week and getting a financial agreement together didn't even feel good, just a minor sense of accomplishment, marred by concern that she's going to go ballistic and do something insane. I'm still not 75% of the way back at work, and it's beginning to take its toll as I work in a demanding field, despite an understanding boss. I try to relish in the presence of my day-to-day life, not looking past the next couple of days, compartmentalize the pain for some periods so I can actually look beyond my trauma for a minute. But only honest, I am unsure if I'm moving forward now out of momentum and habit or actual genuine desire for my life path and career. I'm emotionally exhausted, like a shadow that creeps at the corners of my vision and saps the zest for life I had before this happened. Obviously, this person is a narcissist. Clinical professionals have verified it in fact, and I have no desire to get back together with her. I can't say I'm at me yet. It's more of an intense repulsion. Who knows? Hopefully, one day I'll get there. But I've been grieving the loss of something more ephemeral in a partnership, like a pillar or keystone that's been removed, that I'm having trouble naming but can sense its absence. Maybe it was belief or faith in myself and my path from someone I loved so deeply. It's more than just being alone, still feeling out these scars. I read success stories here, and while I know I'm incredibly lucky in many aspects of my life, I wish I was there today. Many have it harder than me. I hope I can and will have self-compassion for myself for not being there yet is sometimes challenging. treating it like a season to be experienced that will be over one day. Good luck out there to those of you in the thick of it. Recovery is a long, winding road. Don't be so hard on yourself. You are actually killing it, or at least as best as anyone could at this stage. As someone who has been there before, let me assure you that the extreme revulsion you feel towards her will turn to me eventually. It takes a bit of time, but it will happen. I know it's tough. The thing you have to remember is that the pillar you thought was holding you up was never there to begin with. It was you doing all the lifting all along. She is a narcissist and an addict. She never deserved you to begin with. Be strong and keep doing what you're doing. Honestly, you are killing it, even though you may not feel that way right now. Thanks. I've definitely made mistakes like engaging/expecting too much from my wayward wife. Not moving out sooner, not moving faster on a financial agreement, not just up and taking my pet with me when I moved out. I might still be making them involving the other betrayed spouse in my life. We've been close friends for ages feels like a blessing, and that we are mutually supporting each other. But is it trauma bonding and somehow toxic? Should I be traveling or dating or taking this opportunity for a career change? Break into her house and steal my pet back? I'm kind of an anxious thinker and trying to calm those thoughts and just focus on the present and how it feels for once in my life, as opposed to what I typically do, which is plan A, B to Z.